You're listening to Intelligent Medicine, a resource to help you take control of your health. We offer a balanced, objective analysis of all your health, wellness, and aging options, both conventional and alternative. Now you can take your engagement to the next level by joining FullScript. FullScript is my online dispensing platform that only offers curated, professional-grade supplement brands that I know and trust. Never counterfeit or expired, always stored and shipped correctly. Just go to drhoffmanstore.com for more information and to start your free FullScript account. Buying through FullScript offers fast, free shipping, optional refill reminders, a mobile-friendly site. It's safe, secure, and HIPAA compliant and offers world-class support. Just go to drhoffmanstore.com. You'll get access to the supplements and features you need to help you achieve your wellness goals, including my custom targeted protocols that combine the products I recommend to address specific needs, heart health, immune support, and much more. It's all at drhoffmanstore.com. drhoffmanstore.com.
Welcome to Intelligent Medicine, America's foremost program on health, medicine, and nutrition, featuring the latest on both conventional and alternative therapies. Now, here's Dr. Ronald Hoffman.
Welcome to Intelligent Medicine. I'm your host, Dr. Ronald Hoffman. Each weekend on Intelligent Medicine, we talk about the most important health stories of the week. We break them down for you. The best of high-tech medicine, the best of natural therapies, and I put those together for you, hopefully each week, in an entertaining format, and you can be part of the program. The way you get through to us is by calling 877-726-8255. Intelligent Medicine is the longest continuously running medical health show hosted by a doctor in the United States and possibly across the world. We've surpassed our 40th anniversary, doing it a long time, and it's second nature to me. And for many of you, you've been long-term listeners, and thanks for staying with Intelligent Medicine over the years. You have lots of choices in terms of health information, and I think that Intelligent Medicine offers a unique perspective on some of the stories that you're going to hear about. 877-726-8255 is our number. And okay, let us address this week's elephant in the room. And I've been getting a lot of questions about this via email and via our various ways of getting in touch with us. And I want to address it up front because there's a story that's making rounds this week that has a big impact on dedicated supplement users like myself. I use glucosamine. I use a joint protective product that combines glucosamine with chondroitin, and I've been doing that for nigh on 40 years. Yeah, ever since Jason Theodosakis wrote a revolutionary book entitled The Arthritis Cure, in which he documented the benefits of glucosamine sulfate for joint protection and slowing the progression of osteoarthritis, which, let's face it, all of us are ultimately prone to. We get creaky knees, we get creaky hips, we get creaky shoulders, and so joint protection is of utmost importance as we age. And so glucosamine has, in various studies, been shown to, it's not a knockout pill for a joint pain, not something like quaffing an Advil or taking steroids that will stop the pain dead for a while. Unfortunately, not really arresting the long-term prospect for developing the need for a knee or a hip replacement. But ultimately, glucosamine is somewhat of a bulwark against progressive osteoarthritis. So I take it, and just as I was about to order yet another shipment of my favorite glucosamine chondroitin product, this story dropped. Headline here from Science Daily, which is usually a reliable source, pretty sciencey publication for the general public, lay people. They break it down in reasonable fashion. I get a lot of stories out of Science Daily. Headline, popular joint supplement glucosamine linked to faster Alzheimer's progression. And the summary of the story, a major study suggests glucosamine, a popular supplement for joint pain, could be linked to faster progression to Alzheimer's disease. Researchers found a 25% higher likelihood of developing dementia among glucosamine users and uncovered biological clues that may explain why. And so, when I see headlines like that, I don't immediately accept them, nor should you. If you are properly scientifically literate, should look at what the actual study says. But a lot of people don't have that equipment. Even a lot of science reporters don't have the wherewithal to actually read a study because your eyes can glaze over with all the technical jargon and all the detailed information in some of these scientific studies. You may just look at the bottom line, and the bottom line may not be accurate. Or there may be a nuanced story. So I looked at the actual study. And first of all, I have to say it is a great study in a way, because the first part of the story outlines why people might develop dementia in the first place. One of the pathways, we tend to focus on amyloid accumulation, that gunk that accumulates in your brain, gums up the works. And we've now developed drugs that are plaque-busting drugs. They're expensive. They have serious side effects. They have to be employed very early. And ultimately, they may gain, perhaps a few months at best or a couple of years of benefits. They are not a cure. So we need to look at alternative theories about why people develop Alzheimer's and how we might intervene early. And one of the promising theories is something called glycosylation. And this is not new. We know about glycosylation. Glycosylation means when a sugar attacks a protein and binds to the protein, it renders the protein less efficient in its activity. We have an example of a glycosylated protein in the way that we measure diabetes with something called hemoglobin A1C. Glycosylated hemoglobin means that the hemoglobin in your blood cells has been exposed to sugar. The more sugar, the higher the percentage of hemoglobin has been glycosylated, so you get a score. It could range from anywhere from, mine is low, it's 4.9, but it could be as high as 14 in a really out of control diabetic. Borderline people around 6, thought that diabetics have good control when they're 7. Anyway, that is a way that proteins get damaged. But not just your blood cells get damaged over a course of a lifetime, and especially if you have high blood sugar, all your proteins get damaged, including proteins in your brain. And so in the first part of the study, very exhaustively using very sophisticated, just state-of-the-art lab techniques, they figured out that in patients with Alzheimer's and dementia, there is a higher degree of glycosylation in the brain. Okay, I kind of wish that they had stopped there, because what the take-home message might be, instead of glucosamine linked to faster Alzheimer's progression, they could have just said that high blood sugar is linked to faster Alzheimer's progression and susceptibility to dementia. That is actually the theme of Dr. David Perlmutter's best-selling book, Grain Brain. Too much in the way of carbohydrates, not just sugar, but even too much in the way of starchy carbohydrates can raise your blood sugar. Over time, that attacks your brain, and the result is game over for your memory and cognitive abilities. Okay, so much they established. Well, then they went a little further, and they looked at glucosamine. And it turns out glucosamine, as the name suggests, glucosamine, it is a sugar amino acid. And it turns out that glucosamine can actually, a lot of things don't cross the blood-brain barrier very well. So that's one of the problems with curcumin, for example. We want it to get it to the brain to protect the brain, but it doesn't cross the blood-brain barrier very well, so we have to formulate it in ways that help it traverse this rather restricted blood-brain barrier. But it turns out glucosamine can cross the blood-brain barrier. It can find its way into the brain. And as such, it is thought to be something that can increase glycosylation. And so in a test tube, they demonstrated that when you sprinkle some glucosamine on human brain cells in a test tube, that, they pick up the glucosamine, and indeed they become glycosylated at a more rapid rate. So this is what is called an interesting hypothesis, like, maybe, just maybe, glucosamine could accelerate glycosylation in people. So first they tested it out in mice. And what they found, interestingly, they have these mice that are very Alzheimer's prone. That's how they study Alzheimer's disease, especially bred. They gave them glucosamine, and they found that they had an accelerated progression towards problems with memory, social skills, and when they autopsied them and looked at their brains were more glycosylated. So, that's interesting. Wow, glucosamine in actual living creatures can accelerate brain deterioration. So they tried it in humans with Alzheimer's disease. And what they found is that well, there's the problem. How do you know when a person with Alzheimer's disease is taking glucosamine? Well, you can look at a medical record, but they're not very accurate. You can ask the people, but usually the Alzheimer's people, they have no recall whatsoever, so you ask their caregivers. So major Achilles heel of the study is how did they establish that people really were taking glucosamine? And what were they taking? Were they taking high doses? Were they taking it occasionally? They relied on medical records for that. And what they found is that these people died sooner when they took glucosamine, 25% sooner. So did they die of Alzheimer's disease? Well, that was the assumption, but not necessarily the case because, people die of a lot of reasons. So there's an association. What they then did is they looked at mice and they found that, back up. They looked at people with MCI, which is thought to be a precursor to dementia, mild cognitive impairment, which, I think a lot of people suffer from as they get older. And they found that there was actually not a progression towards Alzheimer's. There's not a progression towards Alzheimer's disease in these people. And then they looked at mice, because this is kind of paradoxical. Why in Alzheimer's patients did they find a progression, and why in MCI people did they not find it? In mice who were wild-type mice, just regular mice without Alzheimer's disease susceptibility, glucosamine had no negative effect. And then they looked at their brains. All the glucosamine that they got had no impact on their brains. So bottom line, the takeaway that I have about this is that, and the authors readily acknowledge that, notwithstanding the headlines, they said, well, there might be something about Alzheimer's disease. We're not quite sure. And in spite of the methodology, which is questionable, I think the Achilles heel of the study is the way they gathered data on whether people took glucosamine or not. Very, very tenuous way of establishing that because there's no blood test for glucosamine. They said that maybe, just maybe, there's a caution about if people have Alzheimer's disease, maybe they shouldn't take glucosamine. But it turns out that if people have mild cognitive impairment, there's a negligible effect. And so that might be the take-home message of this study. It doesn't necessarily mean that normal people who take glucosamine are going to get Alzheimer's disease. By no means did this study suggest that. If you want a more detailed breakdown of that, I've written an article about it that will appear in next week's newsletter because it's a deep dive on the study methodology, some of the assumptions, and some of the leaps of faith that I think are involved in creating this link between glucosamine use and the risk of Alzheimer's disease. Bottom line, I continue to order and take glucosamine with chondroitin for joint progression because, last time I checked, I don't have Alzheimer's disease. 877-726-8255, our number. We invite your questions or comments. Yeah, I think there's going to be more feedback about this, and I think some people will be unfortunately scared off of glucosamine chondroitin use, unnecessarily so, in my opinion. I'm Dr. Ronald Hoffman, and this is Intelligent Medicine. Your heart works every second of every day. Shouldn't your supplements work just as hard? Introducing 3 powerhouse cardio support products from Protocol for Life Balance. Nattokinase, drawn from a centuries-old Japanese tradition. This remarkable enzyme helps maintain healthy blood flow and normal blood fluidity. Circulation you can count on naturally. Next, Ubiquinol, This is the active form of CoQ10 your body actually uses, fueling cellular energy production, neutralizing harmful free radicals, and delivering superior absorption. And finally, Clinical Cardio 6. 6 powerful nutrients, 1 capsule, including L-carnitine to energize your heart, hawthorn, and Mega Natural BP grapeseed extract for healthy blood pressure, and MK7 to keep your arteries flexible. Comprehensive cardiovascular support, all in one. Protocol for Life Balance, science-based professional-grade products using ingredients backed by strong research. To order, go to drhoffman.com/protocol for life balance. That's drhoffman.com/protocol for life balance. Protocol for Life Balance is an A-rated GMP manufacturer of premium dietary supplements. Magnesium is crucial for over 300 processes in your body, from energy production and muscle recovery to sleep quality and stress response. Yet, most Americans don't get enough. In fact, in a peer-reviewed clinical trial published in the Journal of the American College of Nutrition, more than 75% of participants showed suboptimal magnesium levels before the study even began. Those who took Jigsaw Mag SRT, a time-release magnesium malate tablet, saw magnesium rise 30% over 90 days, and deficiency symptoms dropped by 63%. Remarkable results backed by real science. And for sleep and recovery, Jigsaw Mag Soothes delivers. In a 4-week clinical trial tracked with Oura Ring data, participants saw a 17% improvement in sleep quality, felt 34% less stressed, and rated their satisfaction 85 out of 100. 82% said they'd buy it again. 2 supplements, 2 clinical trials, 1 company that does the research. Jigsaw Health. Mag SRT for daily magnesium replenishment. Mag Soothe for calm, restorative sleep. To order, go to jigsawhealth.com. That's jigsawhealth.com. Use coupon code Hoffman15 for 15% off your order. That's jigsawhealth.com, code Hoffman15.
Subscribe to the Intelligent Medicine Podcast, updated several times weekly. Go to drhoffman.com.
Welcome back to Intelligent Medicine. Dr. Ronald Hoffman here. Our number is 877-726-8255. You call that number, record a question, and you'll hear some of those questions momentarily. But here's a study about whether multivitamin supplementation could have an impact on whether you're going to get COVID, or if you were to get COVID, how severe your symptoms might be. And there is certainly some plausibility in the notion that taking a multivitamin that contains essential nutrients like vitamin D and vitamin C and other critical nutrients, antioxidants and so on, might have an impact on the severity of COVID, might even prevent it to some extent. So they did a big study. And what's interesting about the study is they didn't just ask people, hey, have you taken a multivitamin in the past? Because people are notoriously poor record keepers. Their recall is poor. They actually broke it down into cohorts where they administered a multivitamin to people versus controls who took no multivitamins. And so this is part of a big study where they actually looked at the impact of cocoa and multivitamins on health. And they found some distinct benefits to cocoa supplementation for the prevention of cardiovascular disease. But the secondary outcome is they looked at multivitamin impact on COVID. And so they looked at a lot of records. They looked at whether people had a positive test for COVID, or whether there was a physician diagnosis, hospitalization, or death due to COVID. So what they found was that no, multivitamins did not prevent people from getting COVID. You know, pretty much like the COVID shot. You know, everybody's got a story about it. Yeah, I took the COVID shot and then I got COVID. The argument for the COVID shot is that it might reduce the severity of COVID. Okay, not sure. But, yeah, maybe that's the use case for that. It did turn out that multivitamins reduced the severity and duration of symptoms in people who came down with COVID. They came down with COVID whether they took multivitamins or not. But the severity of COVID was reduced. So an argument for multivitamins is modest protection against a variety of medical conditions, and in particular infectious diseases, helping the body build some resilience. I'm Dr. Ronald Hoffman, and this is Intelligent Medicine. There's a crucial molecule in your body that helps control everything. Your circulation, your energy, your stamina, your heart, even your sharpness of mind. It's called nitric oxide. But after age 40, your body makes less and less of it. Less blood flow, less stamina, less of you. But now there's N101, the nitric oxide lozenge developed by Dr. Nathan Bryan, the world's leading nitric oxide researcher backed by Nobel Prize-winning science. N101 is designed to naturally restore your body's nitric oxide levels. Just do what I do and let one dissolve in your mouth twice a day. I especially make sure to take it before workouts. N101 goes to work in minutes, releasing nitric oxide directly into your bloodstream, supporting healthy circulation, boosting oxygen delivery to your muscles and brain, helping you feel the way you're supposed to feel. More energy, better blood flow, sharper focus. Day after day. N101, it's the science of you working better. Visit HoffmanNO.com. That's HoffmanNO.com and use coupon code Hoffman10 for 10% off N101.
Has your digestive health been striking out due to poor food choices, medications, stress, and other lifestyle issues? This season, hit a home run for your digestive health with Dr. Ohhira's Probiotics. Dr. Ohhira's Probiotics is a live probiotic encapsulated in small, easy-to-swallow capsules that delivers Dr. Ohhira's signature blend of pre, pro, and postbiotics. Dr. Ohhira's award-winning formula contains a prebiotic blend of fruits and vegetables, which are naturally fermented with 13 strains of live probiotic bacteria for a minimum of 3 years. The result? Dr. Ohhira's game-changing postbiotic metabolites, which are key to supporting long-term digestive, immune, and cognitive function. Dr. Ohhira's Probiotics, an all-star formulation and the best probiotic on the market today for overall digestive health and wellness. Dr. Ohhira's Probiotics, available at Sprouts, Natural Grocers, and other natural health retailers nationwide.
Subscribe to the Intelligent Medicine Podcast, updated several times weekly. Go to drhoffman.com.
Back to Intelligent Medicine, Dr. Ronald Hoffman here. Our number, 877-726-8255. You call that number, you can record a question or comment, and we will field it on the program as I'm about to do with this one. Let's hear it.
I'm 71, and I have a real healthy lifestyle. Follow a lot of your diet and supplement advice. A few months ago, I was shocked. I looked in the mirror shave, and I saw these little bags, I guess they're called Festoons, above each cheek below the lower eyelids. First time I've ever seen this. I asked my family doctor about it. He's not holistic, and he just told me it's part of aging. But, I'm not going to give up that easily. Is this situation inevitable with these Festoons? Is it a sign of an illness? Can I do anything holistically to fix it? I already take a lot of your supplements that enhance the skin, including the MultiD, collagen, cocoa powder, whey, seaweed quercetin, fish oil, olive oil, green tea, organic fruit juices, etc. So let me know if you can be of any help. Many thanks.
Okay, so until recently, I went through my entire life of, I'm on my 8th decade, without knowing that the term for eye bags, the medical term is festoons. Like the Knicks won and New York was festooned with Knick paraphernalia. I guess it means that your eye is festooned with bags, okay? And it is actually a technical term. Festoons are bags under the eyes. And they can have a medical connotation. People have certain medical conditions. Say you have kidney failure or something, God forbid, or you have congestive heart failure. You may have a tendency to become puffy under the eyes because of fluid accumulation. That's kind of a worst case scenario. It can also occur in hypothyroidism, where there's also fluid accumulation. So, it's a sudden appearance of that. If it gets worse and worse, if it's accompanied by, leg swelling and, edema throughout your body, maybe that merits a workup. But it turns out that as one ages, one's collagen becomes more lax. Collagen is kind of like the rubber bands that hold our connective tissue together. And, I like to save rubber bands because you never know when you can need them, to wrap around something. And I noticed that if I leave them in the drawer for too long, they lose their elasticity, and that can happen within a matter of months. In the body, it may take decades, but nonetheless, the degenerative processes, the cross-linking of collagen that occurs with aging and under oxidative stress, et cetera, can, or ultimately deficiency of certain nutrients. Vitamin C is important for collagen production. Any number of these things can conspire to create collagen laxity, but it's inevitable. It's an inevitable consequence of aging. And so there is also a genetic propensity among some families. I have some acquaintances where the whole family has this, and they had it at an early life, and so they elected to, reasonably have blepharoplasty, which is under-eye surgery to correct this tendency. And even, relatively young people in their 30s were getting bags under their eyes. It's just a genetic predisposition. It doesn't, I don't think, have any other health consequences, but it makes you look tired, and you kind of get a refreshed look when you have this minor surgery. So what are some of the other things? I mean, some people suggest that you apply things like Preparation H to the under eyes. There are under eye treatments, among which, Timeline, which is our company that makes urolithin A products. They've actually teamed with L'Oreal, which is one of the big cosmetic companies, to come up with a line of products that tighten the skin, and even there are some under-eye treatments that utilize the benefits of urolithin A. It's also possible that applying skin products that support nitric oxide may help to tone the skin. But it's kind of the holy grail of the cosmetic industry. How do you prevent wrinkles, and how do you tighten the skin? And there are various ways to do it. Even caffeine seems to have this effect to some extent when applied locally, when applied directly to the skin. So, I wouldn't worry about it. I mean, it's more of a cosmetic concern and doesn't have any serious negative connotations. But there are ways to address that, freshen it up, short of full-scale plastic surgery, which I'm not against, because for a lot of people, the way that they appear to themselves in the mirror or appear to others, it really has an important effect on their mood and on their psyche. And so, I wouldn't critique you if you decided to have a procedure to have that somewhat corrected. Just be careful when that procedure is done, because if you take out too much tissue, your eyes have difficulty closing at night. When you sleep, you develop dry eye, and that can be very painful. So don't have over-aggressive blepharoplasty to tighten those under-eye bags, because it may cause some corneal irritation, which is no picnic. Okay, so there you have it. 877-726-8255, our number. All right, as you all know, I'm a big fan of fish oil. Omega-3 fatty acids are a real Swiss Army knife in terms of supporting your health, so many health benefits. And I've looked into a lot of fish oil supplements, and I've come to be aware that many of them are mystery source. They're over-processed. They are subject to high heat refinement techniques, and they're even packed sometimes with synthetic add-ins. But I've discovered one that is different, and that's the one that I now take and recommend. It's Omega-3 Rejuvenate from Big Bold Health, and it starts with wild Alaskan salmon and cod, sustainably caught from some of the cleanest waters on the planet. And then it's processed at low temperatures, kind of like cold-pressed olive oil, to preserve what actually matters. We're talking about real omega-3s, naturally occurring vitamins A and D, as well as all-important pro-resolving mediators that help your body balance its own immune response. And what that may mean for you is, better brain function, even better mood, because there are antidepressant effects, anti-anxiety effects of omega-3 fatty acids, as well as real nature-based support for your heart and immune system. There are no shortcuts, no synthetic nonsense, and it was developed by someone I have supreme confidence in, Dr. Jeffrey Bland, who's a true pioneer in the world of complementary health. We all look up to him. If you want to feel the difference, go to bigboldhealth.com/Hoffman. That's bigboldhealth.com/Hoffman, and use code Hoffman for 20% off site-wide. Once you feel it, you'll know the difference. All right, this side, I got to say, I keep seeing these ads, especially on Facebook, and also on YouTube, for Tai Chi walking. Have you seen those ads? Tai Chi walking, where they show these amazing photos of, flabby guys and gals who do like a few weeks of Tai Chi walking, and all of a sudden they're like shredded, sculpted abs and, bulging muscles. And I said, this is crazy. And of course, I'm not going to fall for that. They say sign up for the Tai Chi walking and, follow the program and you'll transform your body with just Tai Chi walking. Now, I happen to know that Tai Chi is a good thing. It is something that's been practiced for millennia in China. It's a traditional historical practice of Tai Chi. And there are walking drills in Tai Chi, which are incredibly beneficial for balance and fall prevention and relaxation. They're great exercises especially for seniors. And you see the Chinese doing Tai Chi in public squares there by the hundreds. And, you look at the people and you don't know whether they're 60 or whether they're, 100. They all look slim and lithe, and it's a good thing. But this Tai Chi walking thing looks so phony. And it turns out that indeed it is a scam. They now report that there are hidden fees and subscriptions. Many of these apps charge a low, quote, introductory price, but then lock users into hidden expensive monthly subscriptions that you can't get rid of. They're extremely difficult to cancel. You have to, get a new credit card. There's also the prospect that you may be subject to malware and financial theft, because these scammers are aggressive. They advertise fake free Tai Chi classes, and once you click on the link and download their app, it installs malware, which give the scammers remote access to your device, and then they can go in there and wreak havoc, potentially drain your bank accounts. The imagery is totally phony. 100% are AI-generated images with just outlandish fake claims. And I think they do that on purpose because they figure that, they don't want smart, savvy people signing up for this. They just want real people who are very credulous, who may be a little soft in the head, and then they can take advantage of them. So the claims are so outlandish that it actually selects for a population of people that they can victimize. And also, just when it comes to you're not going to get real Tai Chi instruction. The so-called teachers behind these ads have no real connection to Tai Chi. And they offer a dumbed-down version or, even incorrect movements that don't align with authentic Tai Chi training. So you go ahead, take Tai Chi, go to, Tai Chi studio, or, I think they offer it at YMCAs and many gyms, health clubs. Do it. It's good. But please do not succumb to the online Tai Chi walking scam. It is purely a money extraction enterprise. 877-726-8255, our number, and this is Intelligent Medicine. If your quest for longevity feels overwhelming, here's some good news. It starts with one simple daily habit. MitoPure gummies from Timeline. They're the first ever longevity gummies that ignite mitophagy, your body's natural anti-aging pathway. MitoPure is a clinically validated solution backed by over 15 years of research. MitoPure gummies utilize a powerful compound that redefines what's possible for your longevity. MitoPure produces the first ever urolithin A gummies that support your cellular energy so you feel strong, clear, and vibrant. Boost your cellular energy and enhance muscle strength and endurance, all without changing your diet or exercise routine. As someone who loves to stay active, I've noticed a significant boost in my workouts since I started using it. I feel stronger and more energized, and my recovery time has improved dramatically. Better recovery starts at the cellular level. For more information and to order, just go to timeline.com/Hoffman. Use coupon code Hoffman at checkout for 20% off. That's timeline.com/Hoffman for 20% off MitoPure gummies with code Hoffman. You know that feeling when everything just clicks? Your mind is sharp, your mood is steady, your body feels like it's firing on all cylinders. That's not luck, that's what your body is capable of every single day. Now, I've looked into a lot of fish oil supplements, and honestly, most of them are mystery-sourced, over-processed, blasted with heat, and packed with synthetic add-ins. But this one is different. Omega-3 Rejuvenate from Big Bold Health starts with wild Alaskan salmon and cod, sustainably caught from some of the cleanest waters on the planet, and then it's processed at low temperatures to preserve what actually matters. We're talking about real omega-3s, naturally occurring vitamins A and D, and pro-resolving mediators, or PRMs, that help your body balance its own immune response. What does that mean for you? Clearer thinking, more stable mood, and real nature-based support for your heart and immune system. No shortcuts, no synthetic nonsense. And it was developed by Dr. Jeffrey Bland, a true pioneer in the world of complementary health. If you want to feel the difference, go to bigboldhealth.com/Hoffman. That's bigboldhealth.com/Hoffman and use code Hoffman for 20% off site-wide. Once you feel it, you'll know.
drhoffman.com, your portal for cutting-edge information on health and nutrition.
Welcome back to Intelligent Medicine. Dr. Ronald Hoffman here. 877-726-8255 is our number. And let's hear one more recorded question.
Hi, Dr. Hoffman. I developed SIBO, and I'm going crazy. I'm taking so many antibiotics. Do you have any ideas?
Okay, first of all, what is SIBO? It's an acronym which stands for Small Intestine Bacterial Overgrowth. And we've recognized for a long time in integrative medicine that people had imbalances of bacteria and or fungi in their intestinal tract. We used to call it candida, but then we expanded it beyond just yeast infection to an overgrowth of harmful bacteria to the modern concept of small intestine bacterial overgrowth. There's also SIFO, small intestine fungal overgrowth. And that means that, as the witches in Macbeth famously stated, bubble, bubble, toil, and trouble. Because if you put a lot of fermentable carbohydrates into an intestinal tract where there's an overproliferation of bacteria, they're going to create a lot of gas, bloating, discomfort, diarrhea, and even sometimes constipation is associated with that. So SIBO only became a popular concept when medicine and Big Pharma developed an antibiotic for it, which is called Xifaxan. And it's an antibiotic that is not absorbed systemically, so if you have a skin infection, it's not going to help that. But it works in the intestinal tract to get rid of the proliferation of harmful bacteria, kind of winnows down the bacterial count in your intestinal tract. But Xifaxan, just like all antibiotics, is a little indiscriminate in terms of what it does. It gets rid of both the good and the bad bacteria. So it may provide relief to people. And, I'm distressed to hear that they just keep giving you antibiotics and more antibiotics. When you have SIBO, it's important to starve the harmful bacteria. One of the diets that you can look up on the internet, there's lots of resources there, is the low FODMAP diet. And it's designed to reduce the proliferation of bacteria by, in effect, putting the bacteria in a diet and starving out the species that are overpresent in your gut. And the other thing you can do is you could even go further. You could take the Breaking the Vicious Cycle diet, the specific carbohydrate diet, which is even more restrictive and provides people with SIBO some relief. You can look up the SCD, specific carbohydrate diet. It is a resource that's publicly available. So, and the other thing you can do, short of using antibiotics, you can use antimicrobial natural products, such as garlic with allicin. That is raw garlic, not aged garlic. Also, you can use oregano. You can use berberine. There are any number of things. If it turns out that on a stool test there's proof that you have yeast overgrowth, well, antibiotics don't kill yeast. They actually make it proliferate. So you may benefit from a trial of an antifungal medication, or again, some of these botanicals. Peppermint is also good. So peppermint has dual action. It's antimicrobial and also sort of an antispasmodic. So enteric-coated peppermint that is delivered deep within your intestinal tract and opens up there can be helpful. It's kind of an art to deal with SIBO. It may not even be the correct diagnosis in your case. There may be other reasons for you to have gastrointestinal symptoms. It may be a matter of allergy or food intolerance, and that needs to be evaluated too. I think, it kind of goes back to the old axiom in medicine, which is find a bug and use a drug. And I think that's oversimplistic when it comes to people with severe irritable bowel syndrome. All right. This item, they now and tobacco companies have realigned on that because smoking is passé. And for example, when I was in New Zealand, I didn't see anybody smoking. Nobody's smoking cigarettes anymore, but a lot of people were vaping. And it's not that, it's preferable because after all, cigarettes contain a lot of harmful substances. And what you want is the pure nicotine. And if you vape, you'll get the pure nicotine. You'll satisfy your craving, and it's not so bad. It's risk factor reduction rather than going cold turkey. But vaping, there are vehicles used as chemicals to provide a vehicle for the nicotine in the smoke, and they're byproducts that you get when you inhale burning material deeply into your lungs. And so they did a study. It's a study of 4.5 million people. Huge study. Headline, vaping after quitting smoking is linked to lung cancer. So above and beyond, if people have smoked, you smoke for 10 or 20 years, and even if you stop for 20 or 30 years, you still could get lung cancer because you've created some inflammation in your lungs, and it doesn't just go away. But if you keep vaping, even after keeping smoking, smokers who give up cigarettes but still vape, it turns out, have more than a 50% higher chance of developing lung cancer than those who stop altogether, according to the study of more than 4.5 million people. So, the tobacco companies, they're diversifying. They're diversifying, of course, into food too. Like these big companies, they already got the idea that, maybe those halcyon days of selling cigarettes indiscriminately, well, those are over. But they've also reconfigured addictive nicotine in the form of vapes. And a lot of kids are vaping because vaping is something you can do discreetly. You can do it in a classroom, kind of hide behind a book or behind your computer and inhale some hot nicotine that is flavored with, some kind of fruit-flavored innocuous material that may ultimately have a negative effect on lung function. So compared with those who completely quit cigarettes, individuals who used e-cigarettes after quitting had a 50% higher risk of lung cancer. So, this is something that we're going to have to be thinking about. It is not innocuous. I'm Dr. Ronald Hoffman, 877-726-8255, our number, and this is Intelligent Medicine.